back to the program. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's shift gears now and talk matters lifestyle. The conversation you're having this morning is about parenting, basically balancing screen time and family time. And there's been a lot of innovation around technology. And with that, it's becoming quite blurry, the line between healthy digital behavior and, of course, dependence. That line is becoming quite blurry, and we want to have that conversation this morning. Why are we talking more about the need to balance screen time in this day and age? To help with this conversation, with me in studio, I have Jane Gitau, just right next to me, a lovely psychologist, and, of course, Richard Ziwe Zimbalist, a counselor, to help us really just understand why this conversation is important to you as a parent and to your child, and to us who are also learning a day at a time. So do interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag me as well at @Dida. You can call in live as well. There will be a number on your screen shortly if you want to ask any questions to our guest in studio this morning. But let's start with you, Ms. Jane. Why has screen time become an issue of concern in this day and age?
It is a concern because it is a way of disconnecting. You know, people need to connect as a family. And if you have to talk about screen time, it is a concern because what you like watching probably is not what your children will like watching, or even your husband. And so it becomes a way of disconnecting people, you know. And so people are likely to cover themselves with the screen when they don't even want to discuss issues. So if it is a husband, he has his own issues, he just chooses to go to the screen, or I choose to go to the screen to seek for solutions for my challenges, while else maybe I would have discussed the very issue with my own husband or my own children, or maybe the children would have discussed with their parents. And so it has become a way of hibernating, in short. People are hibernating in the screen, and it is actually taking away family time. Yeah.
Ziwe, this was not a concern, say 20 years ago, but right now we're talking about screen time being such a parenting concern in this day and age. What has changed?
20 years ago, I beg to be different.
Really?
We had an obsession over screen, except...
20 years ago?
Oh, yes. The internet was here.
But you know, it
and
wasn't
we used
quite
to run away
available
from
to everyone like it is right now. Right now, you know, everybody can...
TV was
can
accessible.
Achieve, or can get, or can afford a phone, a laptop, something digital.
Now you're being very specific. Now it's the digital platforms, the access to a phone, a tablet.
Yeah.
I think it is good for one to acknowledge that this time around we're like in a tsunami, in a storm. We're in a fire, and what usually kills anyone is not the fire, it's the smoke that is in the fire. And many things that are destructive in this time and age, when people are trapped up in this experience of always connected to the phones, all these digital apps that are out there, they are meant to enhance the quality of relationships, ease life. But if it becomes an addictive behavioral pattern, that's where the problem is. And it's pretty too easy to be addicted. It hits me for a phone. Specific things that are really considered dear to me. Be plugged into it. Find kickboxing.
How about you, Ms. Jane?
The
What is
same.
the appropriate age?
I think for me, and actually this is what we've done in our family. Every time one finished Form 4, we thought it was a good time to start engaging. Why? Because you see, like, they had been in school. They had invested on some relationships, you know, because that is where we actually start. Like he's talking, like my colleague here is talking about engaging in game and all that. For example, this child was in a boarding school. They engaged quite a lot, you know, and they invested their time with these relationships. You see, once they have come out of boarding school, for example, or even out of school, because when people tend to transfer, even if they were in day school, they actually lose each other, you know? So, but now this time, this particular phone, if it is appropriately used, it can actually be used to enhance these relationships, because it is good to for the person to be encouraged to create networks, to start creating networks. But it should not be used as a way of hibernating and trying to discover other things. So I think after 18 years or after, especially high school, it is quite key, because they almost want to know they almost know what they want. Okay, however, it's still an age of curiosity. And some of these things you cannot be able to cover them from completely. However, it is a very, very good time, because this is a time also you want to send them for interview. You want to tell them, go to Karura, do some work there. Maybe in the process you also want to track them. They also want to track you. So it is a good time to, and probably not a very complicated phone, because you also need to challenge them. Because you see, like I've seen somebody finishes Form 4 and you start giving them iPhone. How do you create a room for them to work hard, even to get a better thing? Give them just a simple phone, you know, not necessarily katururu, you know. Really.
Something that gets the job done.
Yeah, just something that get the job done, fine, maybe simple WhatsApp and all, so that at least they have the anxiety. When they start talking about iPhone, and maybe as they wait for their exam, you have some work in a construction site, you want to take your son there to carry some of those stones, maybe even just to observe what goes on. They'll have that curiosity of working and earning, so that they can up their game by even upping their level, I mean, their kind of phones, or communications, whatever, skills.
But you know, somebody for me, I remember I got my first phone when I was in Form 1, right? It was just a decent phone, got the job done, like we said. But you mentioned something about boarding schools as well. Is this something that you'd say, Ziwe, that could help in balancing this screen time for students, especially these younger ones, say Form 1, Class 8? Is boarding school the solution? My niece is around 10 years old. She has a phone, chats me on my WhatsApp every day. So what solution could we find for that particular situation?
I share the same experience with her, pretty much like you. My son is they've been both in boarding school, and they asked to go to boarding school. However, access to the digital phones and these digital apps, if they can be protected from some vices that exist in this space, it becomes the responsibility of the parent. I have no problem with them to be on all these socials, as long as you can access it through my phone. You want to connect with your friends, you can use my phone and connect with your friends through my phone on Instagram. And they do. If you want to really engage them, there's an app, iMac there, you can use it. It's free, accessible anytime. However, what I'm not comfortable with is you having a phone and you have to be in your bedroom and you're on phone the whole day. Because you've not been with us, you've been in school, and all you do is talk to people whose faces you can't see. As addictive as it has been the trend to many parents, I think sometimes we want to be friends with the children and not be the parent. You need to plug some measure of pressure on that kind of experience, because it creates a sense of entitlement. A child begins to dictate what phone they want.
That is the teenage years.
Yes, and that sense of entitlement is not healthy for them. That proxy to these digital devices exposes them to things that I am potentially so confident they're going to ruin their lives, and especially the young adult experiences. You have access to pornography, which is right there in the apps they have access to, and have no control over it. Have you entered homes and the moment you enter sitting room, a child has a way they carve in the couch, and they do not have you see what is on that screen? That should concern every parent.
Maybe they're in love.
Have you entered the room and the first thing you see is multiple punches on the screen of that phone? That should be a red flag for every parent who has given a child access to that phone. Have you been in places and as uncomfortable as it might be, some of us who take our children to church, and as soon as we get to church, he will not carry a physical Bible. So he carry the phone and say, the Bible is in here.
Yes, the notepad is also
But there's a particular eye a parent usually has that gives you pretend over your child.
Yeah.
He was last time on the Bible the moment you entered. But throughout the entire sermon, is totally different directions. And the directions is on, to your amazement, there's an earplug somewhere. So they easily get distracted. They veer off the road pretty soon. So I think my own experience, boarding school, no boarding school, it's my responsibility as a parent to control the amount of time a child spends on screen and what devices that I give them access to. Because if they don't get involved in drugs, they get involved in pornographic experiences. They view things which are not over and above their age. And there's a lot of these perverts on these social media platforms. So you can't control that. The best way you can control it is to get back to yourself and say, why am I giving my child this phone? Is it because my child's entitled? Is out of, in the first place, they don't even know the price of that phone. Have they been able to earn some money for themselves, save for that money? I think just get them to be in a place where they're smart, but also money smart. Teach them some values about money.
What happens
to buy themselves a phone?
Behaviors. You know, our parents used to say, I'm not giving you a phone. The way Mr. Zoe is talking here, he's saying that they have to know the value of that phone, what it takes for you to own that particular phone. And right now, this generation says, they talk about breaking generational behaviors or generational traumas. If our parents told us, you have to know the value of that particular phone before you got it. So does it mean you're passing on that particular, trauma or behavior? What do you think?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because you really don't have to grow your children the way you are grown. You can make some difference, or you can add, because I believe the way I was grown was the best, Lily. And I would want to bring up my children in the same way, but of course add a few things because times are changing and we must accept that. For example, like now when I talked about the boarding school issues, because anytime you make an investment, you don't want it collapsed in a minute. It is quite traumatizing. By the time that some person start growing new relationships, it become tough. And I remember, personally, I was in a boarding school. Fortunately, we had that old kind of a phone at home. So I gave everyone my phone, and they would call me. So when they came to Nairobi, they would actually talk, and I found it very, very good. However, I think it is very, very good, as I said earlier, to help the children to know that it costs something to acquire that phone. And I also think this issue of even as parents using a digital Bible, it's actually disturbing because we are talking of children, but you've not started with somebody in the church. And when the pastor is busy preaching, they are actually watching things. And you're like, oh my God, this is a mature person. So I think it is an issue. I don't know how we can sort it out as a society, but I think as a family, we can probably say, fine, it is true, it is okay to have the virtual Bible because you may even need to read a word even when you're in a matatu or wherever place. However, can we also make use of the physical Bible? And as I was saying, like right now, if you look at the Gen Zs, as you saw during the whatever, Maandamano.
They call it Gen Z uprising.
I tell you, uprising and evolution, whatever word. So we saw almost all of them, actually, they have iPhones. Yes. And so if yours doesn't have iPhone, they must work hard. And that is why I was saying, introduce them to things that will actually cause them to be busy and have good relations. Like when you talk about martial arts, if you're going to do some gym or some whatever with some people, you know, it helps your mind grow. Some of these issues of you just sitting in the house and just watching, and in the process, they're also eating jugus and some crepes. So you even start gaining crazy weight, you know? Then when you allow them to go out there, you see, they create better networks, and the mind start working faster and much better than when they stayed in the house. I happened to be looking for an attachment at Madari Mental Hospital. Yeah, I'm doing my master's in that. So, and what was very interesting is that I found students. They were sitting at the front office. All of them are students. But what was very strange, I think they were about 15. Each one of them was on phone. And now I wondered, surely, there is no catching up, there is nothing. I'm on my phone, the other one is on their phone, the other one. And you're like, surely, what is all this? What kind of life is this? And I said the other day, it's very unfortunate. People are even approaching each other over the phone. See, to meet after this. You know? So it is really messing up the communication. And so I think we as the parents, or even as society, we must come up with an idea of how we can break it. For example, now look at, right now the children have already closed school. And this holiday is going to be long. So if we don't have a way of controlling, but thank God, there are those apps nowadays that can help you control your TV. You can manage what they are watching. And that is very, very nice. But now what is very interesting or very unfortunate is that even the cartoons that you think they should watch, unless you're there, for some reason, somewhere along the cartoon, they have actually put those pornography. I don't know why they're doing that. But otherwise, I think the media is trying, because they have those apps that can help you control from where you're sitting. You can actually control what your daughter is watching. Right. You can get back to the history when you get home and see what they have been watching, you know. However, even those very simple things that you may think are correct, somewhere in between the line, I mean, somewhere in between the movie or the cartoon, they actually slip in those pornography. And I don't know why it's been done that, or this gayism thing. I don't know why they have to keep on forcing these people into people's throat. Yeah. And it is quite annoying.
We are actually going behind time. Tunajirudisha nyuma, right?
Yeah, it's quite annoying.
Can parents now, Mr. Ziwe, balance screen time for a healthy family? We're talking about the importance of balancing screen time for our children. And of course, she has mentioned about, you know, the long holidays that are with us, you know, with these kids now back at home. Is it possible for these parents now to just come up with a healthy behavior that will now, you know, control this screen time, but then does not also look like they're trying to control them and try to put pressure on these kids?
Thank you, my friend. I think one of the biggest challenges is not even the children, it's the parents themselves. We have addicts in parents. They are inseparable from their own phones, their engagements within their own digital devices. You cannot demand a behavior pattern from a child which you are exhibiting. From the moment you walk into the house, you're locked up into your phone or your laptop. And then you're telling the children, switch off that TV. Sometimes you tell them to switch off the TV, then they do what? They don't even have an alternative. Yesterday we were in a particular popular bookshop buying a few books to accessorize our children. We're in a school break. It strikes you when you're going to demand a behavior change in your child and say, switch off that TV. And boldly so, you say, mwende nje, wafanye nini? Yes, but you not join them in the play. So one of the things that helps is the person who is the parent to be a parent and look at yourself. How long do you stay on that phone? Can you literally let go of that phone? And children can predictably say, when mom comes here, or dad, they put their phone down. If they put it to church, past this particular time, they're not going to be on that phone. It helps for the children to know, I can imitate that. Number two, genuinely get involved with your children. There are games you can play on the table, card games that you can play, board games you can play. There are things you can do. Get into the kitchen and cook with your children. Those are things we've been doing. Teach them a new skill, a new craft in your own kitchen as a father, as a mother. Gardening, take them outside and show them how to plant, and they see plants come alive. I remember teaching them how to plant kunde, manangu, and all these things, and they've seen them literally go, avocados and fruits, and they are seeing them grow and saying, this is how you do it. If you're inside the house, as the parent, of course the work you carry with you. Can they tell at this hour mom is going to get into a meeting? They know it is to that hour you get into the meeting. But in the interim time in between there, can you engage them? Can you sit back and get to hear the stories? Can you tell stories with them? Can you read together? As you tell them to read, do you ever pick a book and read? Thank you for the books which are digital books. Do get a physical book and read. Okay? Exercise. There are apps that are within the same phone that you can put on your phone and exercise. I like this one for steps. I do about 12,000 steps every single day of my life. And this is what I told them. Let's do it together. And they look forward for that moment. Instead of sitting TV for 2.5 hours, I actually can do 10,000 steps as a kid. And you'll be amazed, they're excited about it. And one of the things that I find it very critical at this age, it's not the child, it's the parent.
But we're telling them that it's good to balance screen time for your kids. But why is it important? Maybe they do not understand how and why this is important for their children. Then why is it important for the kids?
It is important because humans should be balanced. You see, every imbalance causes trouble. That is why when you go to buy meat or whatever it is, they have to ensure there is that balance. Because even when you're walking, if you lose your balance, what happens? You fall. So it is very, very important to balance life. Because when they know it is this way and this way alone, then what happens to the other way? What happens to the other things? You know? See, like what my colleague here is talking about is very, very key, because we want to see our children. So if we don't balance this one, if we don't teach them balancing, how will they balance their own children? Because you'll be surprised. What parents teach their children is what goes. You see, we are forever saying, oh, my mom showed me this, my dad showed me this. You see, like what my colleague is talking about is very important. Personally, I have green fingers. I really love. And it is very nice that when I do that, I actually do it with them. And they see, you see, they like sitting on lawn. So every place they go, they see nice lawn and they appreciate. But do they know how it comes up? They don't know. So when you go to the ground with them, show them it is not easy though, and they see the leveling and the flattening of the ground. You start planting the lawn with them. You start planting that managu. Can you imagine them seeing managu in seed form, then see them as seedlings? Before you know it, they are right in the sufuria. So they're like, wow, this is amazing. From seed to the sufuria, to my stomach. So you see, you're teaching something. You're already teaching farming, and you'll be surprised when that subject is introduced in school, it becomes very easy to assimilate. You know, it becomes very easy to appreciate it, even to become an agriculturalist, because, you know, there are some courses that the government will suffer trying to tell people now study this, because they will actually not have anybody studying, because you're like, now, what is all this? But you need to introduce, and you know, as you continue introducing different things, children are able to choose. Introduce martial arts, introduce a ball, introduce steps in the house and even out there. Yeah, start from the screen. Walk at home. you know, with them. When you start working at home, now when you start working out, it becomes very easy. So when you introduce variety of things, because, you know, you have different children, their mind is different. So what they will, each one of them may like different things. So as you continue introducing different things, cooking, like now, for example, my husband is a chef. And I've seen my children really appreciating cooking, because he used to tell them, like, okay, sometimes he's out of the country. So when he's here, come with me to the kitchen. So like now, yesterday, my daughter happened to just moved out, and she was telling me, Mom, come, today I want to bake a banana cake. And you see, that is what their father has been baking. So you can see, as much as they didn't bake last year but one, something the file has started opening.
Yeah.
Because now somebody have their own home, and they're like, what can I do with this kitchen? And you're like, wow. So she'll send you a picture. I don't know, she has made, now there's this air fryer. Now she's showing you, she has done salmon, and you're like, wow. Just the same way the father showed them. So you can see, the file may not click immediately, but when they are on their own, when they are posed with a challenge, the files will continue opening. They'll be like, oh, my dad showed me this, my dad showed me this. And by the way, no sooner will they have moved out of the house or continue aging, that they will realize, hatukuwa tunawakati, kukuwakazia. You know, sometimes you feel like, unakazia huyu mtoto, sio kumkazia. They will realize, oh, this was good. Had they not done this, because that is what we say today. Like my mom was very tough. She really used to beat us. We were really beaten, I tell you, when we were growing. But you should hear us when we sit down with my siblings. They're like, had they not beaten us, believe you me, would not be like this. Because sometimes you're able to recall other families that were left free. Maybe. And you saw what came out of them. Compared to us who were really thumped, we were really beaten. You did this. My mom was a policewoman, so she did not spare us. You did this, you had to suffer for it. So we were very careful. We couldn't even differ. Anytime we differed, when he had the gate, we pretended that we were together. And out of that pretext, now we are together.
This is the time now to throw around there, sifunzo na mama ufunzo na limu.
I'm telling you, we pretended. We had to make sure everything is right. Yeah.
We asked a question online, with gadgets and TV taking up most of our evenings, how can parents strike a healthy balance between screen time and real family time? And we have feedback here. Murugi Gitonga is saying, I think technology isn't the problem, it's how we use it. Parents can set limits and also lead by example by putting their phones away during family time. Sometimes all it takes is putting the phone aside and asking everyone how their day was. Those small moments build real connection. Thank you so much, Murugi, for that particular feedback there. But now the question will be, is the goal to reduce screen time or to redefine how it's used? Zio.
I think the quest is to build strong, healthy family values. When we're growing up, there are bonds that we created around a family meal, a cup of tea. There are things that you cannot quantify, but when you look back at them, you see how potent they are to shape the person that you are. Your mom looked forward to come home to look you in the eyes. Hi, my baby. Just look in your eyes. The parents would hardly ever look into the face of their children. Because the eyes are here. The eyes of the baby is here. The house help is here. So even the communication in the house, someone is at the rooftop of the house, you're communicating using text, someone is in the bedroom, you're communicating. There's a value when you look someone with empathy in their eyes, with compassion around your sitting room. You wrap your hands around your daughter, say, hi, baby, how have you been? What's been your day like? We went to school. What was that you got to learn and you enjoyed? And you get to see them talk about it, looking you in the face. The values that you build as a family, they're around not even too much time. Usually it's about 45 minutes of being seated back, no digital devices around your children, around your spouse. Then you break into some other roles. It doesn't take long. Would someone care for a cup of tea? You jump to the occasion to do that. Then, would you come and help me to crush this ginger or squash this lemon? That interconnectedness as a family has been robbed away as a result of getting into these digital platforms. Like the comment has been said, technology is not the problem. It's where you create a healthy balance and draw the boundaries and the lines that would work to enhance the quality time that you spend together as a family. Is it possible that you can enter and put the phone somewhere and not go to pick it? And your daughter will not run for it, or your son, and say, hey, what channel are you seeing? Come sit here. Tell me about your day. Would you care to go pick the things I've left in the car? Sometimes the parents, you've done the shopping, then you're the one dragging the shopping into the house. Can you send them to pick the shopping? After they've picked the shopping, did you take note the car is dirty? Please, would you care to help me to wash the car? And they're excited about the value of washing that car. Say, you know, it helps us to ease our mobility, but so it's healthy for the car to be clean. I've had to teach my boys to do that. Then you tell them, you see, you need to check the pressure for the tires. If it has gone low, you switch it on. There's a machine that helps you in the back of the car. And they're excited about that experience. When you sit on the dining, is it possible to eat a meal without looking at a phone? It is practically, literally hard. Because we're in a generation that takes pride in taking photos of food instead of eating it.
You've called out so many adults.
Oh dear.
Yes.
It's sad. Instagram is putting too much pressure on TikTok. But the reality is, you need to introspect yourself as an adult. Is this behavior pattern sustainable? Is it going to create a culture of being unified as a family, or is it going to be a divide for every one of you? You have to really send a text to your daughter in the bedroom to come and eat dinner? Do you really need to WhatsApp your mom to say, Mom, dinner is ready? What happened to the opportunity of preparing dinner together? What happened to the joy of sitting around a table and having healthy conversation about your heritage, your family heritage, where you come from, how you grew up, around the bond of fire? Now they don't have fire. We have gas cookers.
Yeah.
How about standing next to the pantry while your mom is cooking, or you the one cooking, and I come alongside to guide you? It's been an exciting experience for me when I've been passing on these values alongside with my wife. It took her long to actually know for my wife that actually I used to bake for all my life. We had been married for many years, but she never knew I used to bake for that long. We used to do commercial cakes. But when she picked up the art to bake, she's excellent. Now she's teaching the children how to do it. How about going back to those things that really created us in strong bonds as a family without devices? We can reinvent and revisit those. The reality is, technology is good. There's gaming for my children. I see them do their games, and I think I like when I see them do that. But is it possible to be involved in gaming and you're not addicted?
No. Is it? Is it possible not to get addicted?
That's the question. Is it possible to be involved in watching sports? I love Man U.
No.
Even when you're losing, I love Man U.
We know the addiction that comes with football.
Is it possible to be locked up in that experience and not be addicted? But how about getting behind the mats of all these events? The people are making money out of it. Can you learn how to do coding? And you be the one creating the games and make the money? Can you be able to know what it feels like to do the transfer for players from one team to another and make the money? Be the manager. Be the scout for this. Get to know the dynamics behind it. It's not just about watching football endlessly and going to sports betting. Sports betting, okay. Do you know the theme behind sports betting? Do you know why people are addicted to it? So there's a need to get into a healthy conversation and engagement with your children, but let not that be substituted for the things that create family values that are timeless for us, especially looking forward. Because there's a time where you need to know that I'm preparing my children for the future ahead of them.
All right, let's get more feedback here. Matthew Samuel is saying a proper limit and balance, it's a collective responsibility. Tash is saying, in as much as the negative sides of gadget is very loud, they can still play a major role in family time. A family can bond through watching a program together and parents getting to know their things their kids get themselves into. Thank you so much. Other quick comments here. Kevin is saying, in today's fast-paced world where gadgets and television seem to dominate the majority of our evenings, it becomes increasingly important for parents to strive for a harmonious balance between screen time and genuine interactive family moments. Thank you so much for your feedback. But let's address also the issue of curiosity. Because even as we try to create these healthy behaviors, with our kids and tell them that, talk to them that, there's sometimes you can get too addicted, which is not good for you. But how do we now balance the curiosity that comes with it? Maybe they say that, mom and dad don't want me to use my phone at this and this particular hour. They don't want me to use Instagram or TikTok. Then what is it that they're hiding from me? What do they want me to see in this particular hours? That curiosity that comes with teenagers or preteens. How do we address that?
Yeah, I think it is very important, like as my colleague said, when you meet as a family, for example, it is very important to know what your son or your daughter like watching. And even for those people who are in the church or other platforms, it's good to get to engage children and get to know exactly what they like watching. And if this is what they like watching, why do they like watching it? So that when you talk about the family time, it will not be just a family time of just sitting and gazing at each other. It will be a time where you can actually engage in activities and you can get to know what your sons or daughters like watching and why they like watching. Because you see, if you start engaging what and why, you start breaking the curiosity. I like watching pornography. Why? Yeah? I like watching people farming. Why? Because you see, it cannot be that when I get to the house, I just switch farming and I don't even farm. There should be a reason of that interest, So it is very, very important for us to start becoming more direct, because what we hide is what they like searching for. So if you're going to watch pornography, and I think we might just have to come out open with this thing, because we need to know what is taught in school. We need to know and put our ears on the ground to hear what the children are talking about when they are playing. If you're passing children, don't just walk, just pay a bit of attention.
Eavesdrop.
Yeah, and put your ears on, you'll hear something. And you don't even have to pick it from your daughter or from your son, because they may not tell you, You can even pick it from elsewhere. So use that information. So for example, like when I do therapy with a child, I'll just ask them, sing for me the song you sang on Sunday. I was not in her church, but I presume a song was sung, and she'll sing, and she'll be very, very happy to do that. So if we are able to engage on different issues, because we passed through there, we have history. So let's not, parents, let's not pretend like we didn't go through that or like it is so strange. The same curiosity our children have, we had it. So, okay, we should not really condemn our children, because for sure, what my children are doing, I did it, just that I did it differently. So I can actually start addressing an issue, because I am so sure that is where they are in age. I have seen it with others if I didn't see it with me. And especially like now, for example, from where I sit from as a psychologist, I've had issues, I've had things. These kids are in school. My children have been in school. So even if they never did, at least they had it, or maybe they even participated in it. So let us talk about drugs. Why is the government, like now, for example, you can even pick an issue from the newspaper. Yeah, every time you look at the newspaper, you can make sure there's a point of discussion there. So why is the government condemning drugs? And we start discussing. And so they'll say in my school, actually people are even using marijuana. So what do you know about this topic? And there is so much to keep on discussing. But as I said earlier, when it comes to the issue of addiction, why people were not getting addicted long time ago is because they engaged physical. You know, if it is football, they went to the field to play. And you know, the body gets fatigued. And when they get to bed, they sleep because you're fatigued. Right now, there's almost nothing to fatigue you. You know, because if you're just there watching, or you know, that's a game there. Somebody has their machine and I have mine. So we are just there focused. And maybe the whole day we can be on the telly. So what tires us? So by night, by 11 in the night, we are not tired. We have no sleep. So you can keep going on. And actually this thing, I don't know, it looked like it has been actually introduced to trap people, even into not thinking. You know, you can think on how to solve a problem when you're right in the field. Like now you went to play and the ball has been thrown to you, you have to know how to hit it back. But now if you're doing it with the machine, surely somebody else is doing it for you. Yeah.
And I have that particular question. They say excessive screen exposure reduces the attention span. So what is that link exactly between the two? How does that happen psychologically? You know, I see for adults, it does reduce the attention span. But for kids, how does that happen psychologically?
Come again?
The excessive use or exposure to screen time, that it has a very big effect on the attention span, and it's quite major right now on adults. So how does that happen psychologically for kids? What is the link between the two?
Yeah, so what usually happens the concentration time is because you see their mind is so limited, and like an adult who has been exposed to so much, you know, you have to, as much as you can be on your screen, you realize that your mind is on the screen, but you're also elsewhere. So your mind is scattered. And like a child whose mind is actually being shaped toward this particular thing. So their concentration is becoming different. It becoming different. But for you, you have so many other things to think about. What will they eat? What will they do? You have to go to work, you know. But now their mind is actually concentrated or focused on that particular thing.
All right. And I know there are parents who use, you know, screen time to keep children busy while they do other things, say cook or what is it called? Like they could be working, but now they put the child on screen time just to distract themselves as they work. Then how do they now balance that? You know, just trying to also incorporate everything we've talked about. Like, you know, you can bring them in to help you in cooking or bring them in to help you in farming. How can they now incorporate that particular behavior into their daily lives?
Are we not all guilty of that? The reality is, I call it intentional parenting. It's one of the grand privileges that we all have. And the best way you can get your children to be involved in the things that are more meaningful with them, use those same hands that you use to be playing with these digital devices or constantly massaging and fondling these phones. Wrap them around your child. Take them to the balcony and say, hey, would you care to help me with clean up this space? You see how excited they get involved in that opportunity. Go around your son and say, I like these muscles. You're a strong man. Did you know you're a strong man? We need to wash this car. You don't need to tell them more instructions. They know what to do. They run to bring the buckets so that they can get gainfully involved. I don't know how to do chapatis, but I know how to provoke them to go help their man to do the chapatis. And they're slapping the dough and doing this and say, these muscles are good for that kind of experience. So they know they are the ones who eat them. I don't enjoy them, but I can taste some, but I can provoke them to help them to do that role with their mother. Yes, there's gardening to do. What does it take to show them how to create a sprinkler out of an empty drum with a nail? I told them, just fork it up. Get a hammer, it's there. Use this nail, and every time, every morning, in the afternoon, the evening, it's your responsibility to go get some water and make sure these green leafy greens of ours that we eat every day, you water them and the joy that they do it with is very exciting. How about taking them outside, buy a small ball that will not crush the windows around your compound and kick it around with them. Like Ronaldo, say, I am Messi today. And they get excited about it, including that girl, they do it. I got myself a yoga mat for exercise. I think I don't even own it, they own it.
Yes.
How about doing some significant stretches on that mat with the mom and the dad? And kids love to see you do things with your spouse in the house, and they love to imitate them. How about playing a game where they imitate you when you're angry? I like when my sons imitate me when I'm angry, or when I raise my voice. And I burst and I'm like, oh my God. I hope they have enough courage to detox themselves from some of the silly things I do when I'm angry. But it's very helpful when you get practical in your intentional parenting. The washing of the utensils, it's one thing to see things compounding on a sink, and everyone is seated in the sitting room for some reason. Someone is on iPad, another is on the phone, another is a PlayStation, another is watching the screen, on the laptop somewhere, and say, hi, Zani, would you care to help me? Yes, Dad. She does not even want to switch off the TV and say, I thought we could clean the sink together. Is that okay? Okay.
And they're happy to do it.
They're happy to do it,
All
but
right.
you're demonstrating for them how to do it. Yes.
Let's talk about now real-time issues. We are now in the era of these digital things. They're here, iPads, TVs are constantly here, they've been here. But now 30 years ago, we invested in real world and real-time connection. Do you see us going back to that particular era as we wind up in 1 minute?
Well, we are likely not to go up. In fact, if anything, we are even advancing. But I would not want to quit before mentioning that we have a challenge, especially like there's an area that I'm very much interested in because they are parents with the challenged children. And I think screen time or TV have actually played such a great role in the sense that like we are talking about engaging these children in so many other activities. Some of these challenged children are not very cooperative. And so sometimes TV has become in handy because I'm thinking maybe there are some parents who are wondering, now here I am with a challenged child who cannot engage in some of these activities, and TV has become a good way of trapping the child. However, I think it is very, very important to know that we can actually engage better programs for this kind of children, because for sure we are not going back. But just like I would say that intentional parenting is very, very key, and creating boundaries is very key. But what is challenging most of these things also is the relationship between a mother and a father. Because when there is no good relationship between you two, some of these activities become very, very hard to be effected. Because the father is away, the mother is away, they are thinking different. She's so stressed because the man didn't come last night, or the woman you went where, So I think there has to be a very good relationship, and we have to know that as much as we may not be agreeing, we are raising children who at the end of the day will affect you and affect me equally. I may be the first to go. You'll be left with those stubborn children, or I will be left with those stubborn children. So I think it is very, very important for parents to come together and agree. As much as we don't agree in different matters, can we agree on intentional parenting? And you lay out things that are going to help the children. So don't just do things to punish me so that you become the best before the eyes of the children. Yes, you become the best in the eyes of children. I'll become the best in the eyes of the children. Then what about their future? So we must agree to intentional parent and do it right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. That is Jane Gitawa, psychologist this morning, and of course Richard Ziwa Zimbalist, our counselor, helping us understand the importance of balancing screen time and just ensuring that you have a healthy family back home. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time for us this morning. And thank you for being part of this conversation, for your feedback. We do appreciate you for taking your time to join us this morning. That brings us to the end of this segment. My name is Anne Odida. Good morning.